Okay, so topic of today's video is going to be how can you improve your communication skills with ADHD. Now, by far, this is one of the most important topics which has to be covered with this whole genre of ADHD, because someone with ADHD has to suffer with this thing a lot, like a lot. Now, let's just start this video by talking on the problem. Like, what is the problem? Let me just explain to you what is the problem. So, let's just start by understanding what is the definition of a good communicator. What do you really understand by a good communicator? Now, good communicator is not really a person who who can express his thoughts really good, or who can have a good pitch, who can have a good voice, or who can have a very deep voice. That is not the definition of a good communicator. In fact, it is just a part of being a good communicator. A very important part of being a good communicator is that you have to be a good listener also. So whenever you are in the middle of a conversation, you have to listen 70%, and then you have to add up to that conversation 30%, and that is something which has to be meaningful. Like, whenever you are trying to communicate, whenever you're trying to say something, that thing should have a value, that thing should carry a value. And now the problem with ADHD comes in when you have to listen something. Like, people with ADHD tends to be more impulsive, and that is one of the reasons they cannot focus when someone is talking to them. And when they cannot focus, whenever they are not listening to the person who is speaking to them, they are not comprehending properly. Like, the person is trying to give them a knowledge or a message or something like that, but that person with ADHD is not listening. That, like, he is listening, but it is not that much good. He is a passive listener. So what is happening in this whole situation is that he is not comprehending what other person is trying to say. And whenever he is not comprehending properly, there are two things which are going to happen. Either he is not going to react to the situation at all, or either he is going to talk on a different level, on a different topic. Like, okay, you're talking to me on a different topic. Now I don't really care about the topic. I am going to start a different conversation with you. And some people who don't really understand this ADHD thing, they just get hurt by this thing. Like, how can how can this person just purely ignore me? How can he do that? Like, is it even possible? Even does this person is trying to show me an attitude or something like that? And it is a problematic thing. Like, if you will think on this topic, if you will seriously give it a thinking, you will realize that someone who does not really understand what ADHD means, they can get hurt by this thing. Like, they can really get hurt by this thing. They think that you are showing them attitude, you are egoistic. So that is something. When I also told some of my students that whenever you met some friends, or whenever you realize that you have ADHD, you should tell your friends that you have ADHD. And coming on the communication part, how can you actually improve it? Now, there are one way. There are two ways actually. I will be covering both of them. The first way is that you have to adjust your dopamine limit. Like, whenever you're talking to someone with like, it can be a friend or a family member, your brain just get overwhelmed by their presence. So whenever they are in front of you, they are not actually a person, they are a dream to you. Like, you're just so much happy with their presence that you don't realize that they are also a human being. Like, now you just don't want to listen to them, you just want to talk to them. Like, you just want to express your feeling, you just want to express your thoughts. And that is something, that is somewhere the problem where starts. Like, this is the point from where the problem starts. And now what I'm asking you to do is that I'm not asking you to totally just listen. That is not something which I'm asking you to do. I'm just asking you to do, just wait for 2 to 3 minutes, let them talk. And whenever they are talking, try to comprehend, try to understand, try to get what they are trying to say. And after they are completed, and after they are done talking, just add something to their conversation. Like, just show them that you are listening properly. or try to at least try to engage in a meaningful conversation. How can you engage in a meaningful conversation? Talk less and talk less and listen more. That is the only piece of advice which works. Like, you don't really have to talk, just talk it at 20% and listen 80%. I know that there are going to be a problematic thing, and there are a lot of things which you are going to forget in the middle of talking, and it is something totally fine, and there's nothing you can do about it. So whenever you tell someone that you have ADHD, up to a certain extent they get an idea that okay, this person is not mentally that much advanced to have a meaningful conversation, but they get an idea like okay, he's trying his best to communicate properly and he gets what I'm trying to say, at least trying to get what I'm trying to say, so they don't really get mad about it. That is a piece of advice which I like to give you. I think this is up for today's video.